All right, we're in RX6, and you know, one of the most difficult things to get out in terms of dialogue cleanup is clothing rustle. You know, this kind of thing here. And you know, if you're not using a rye coat or some other kind of, you know, cover for your microphone, you're going to get that on any actor in any clothing anywhere. But the new version of RX has DeRustle in it. And we used to have to use decrackle and all kinds of crazy things to get this to work. But with DeRustle, it's amazing. And not only does DeRustle do great with clothing, but it does amazing stuff with wind and other general noise. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So here's a little bit of something that I've recorded on my iPhone out in front of my house. That's going on in the background like this. Here comes a skateboard guy like that. Fantastic. And that's just straight wind, which, you know, most of the time is also untenable and unusable, but sounds an awful lot like clothing rustle. So we're just going to make this selection here like this, and we basically have two controls, really simple. You have how much of the reduction do you want, and I believe this is in decibels, and then how much of the ambience behind the rustle do we want to create. So if we do no ambience preservation and a maximum reduction, let's just see what we get out of this. It's sort of a big computational process. It takes it just a second, and there is no way to preview it. But let's see how we did here. Boom. That's going on in the background like this. Here comes a skateboard guy like that. Fantastic stuff. That's going pretty good. It's a little weird sounding, I'll grant you, but this is a huge draconian setting, right? So let's undo, let's do ambience preservation some and pull down the reduction a lot and hit process one more time. You know, anything that's a professional tool should be able to go to a place that you would never want to use it. You know, way too much of something, whether it's an EQ, compressor, or denoise, or any kind of other process. And that makes it a professional tool. For certain, RX shows up in that category. That's going on in the background like this. Here comes a skateboard guy like that. Fantastic stuff. Now there's still a lot of noise, but this is not a denoise plugin. This is a DeRustle plugin. And listen again to what the wind is doing, or more importantly, is not doing. That's going on in the background like this. Here comes a skateboard. As opposed to where it was. That's going on in the background like this. Here comes a skateboard guy. That's pretty amazing. Now let's try one more thing. We're going to reduce the strength more and run a full ambience preservation and see what happens. You know, sometimes you can misuse tools and get great results if you know how to tweak them. And at the Cinema Sound Education, we show you an awful lot about how to misuse tools and get great results. Let's see how this does. That's going on in the background like this. Here comes a skateboard guy like that. Fantastic stuff. And that's with DeRustle. And of course, you're like, well, that's really still noisy. Well, then we know how to deal with that. In fact, let's find some better noise. And we can go to spectral denoise, learn, and I forget where my selection was, but it's going on in the background like this. Something like that, and preview. Chime that's going on in the background like this. Here comes a... Let's process. Very quick now. And chime that's going on in the background like this. Here comes a skateboard guy like that. Fantastic stuff. Here's the wind. So that's a huge, amazing change. And you're like, well, I don't know if I'm too impressed. Well, let's review. Let's rewind and undo. That's going on in the background like this. Here comes a skateboard guy like that. Useless. And let's go all the way back again. It's going on in the background like this. Here comes a skateboard guy like that. Amazing. RX6 is like a magic tool for seriously degraded audio.
Even if you're stuck.